Disgraced entrepreneur and founder of the Fyre Festival, Billy McFarland, is fresh out of prison. Now he was sentenced to time behind bars for committing fraud and for basically sending all these privileged, wealthy people to an island that had nothing to support them even being there. There was no real music festival. There were no accommodations. It was a complete and utter disaster. But don't worry, because he is now doing a full media campaign to promote his new festival. He hasn't even given it a new name. It's just gonna be Fyre Festival 2.
Sucker born every minute. Have at it, Hoss.
So he was sentenced to 6 years in prison and 3 years probation following the disastrous Fyre Festival. And he defrauded investors. Let's keep it real. That was the main reason why he served time behind bars of almost $26 million, okay? Now, and he also agreed, so he did plead guilty to that, to defrauding the investors. Now, McFarland has served his required 6 years in prison, but he still has the 3 years of probation left. Offering to fly attendees onto an executive island, exclusive island in a private jet, provide gourmet food and a chance to be with the most exclusive models were only some of the promises that McFarland had failed to meet when he charged over $12,000 per ticket. The Fyre Festival instead turned out to be a man-made humanitarian crisis that Hulu and Netflix have turned into a documentary. I highly recommend both of them. They're entertaining, to say the least. Now, in his first interview following his release, McFarland decided to admit that he was wrong, okay?
Mighty big of him.
Let's watch that.
A lot of people consider you to be the ultimate con man. What do you consider yourself to be?
I was wrong, so I messed up, and I was so driven by this desperate desire to prove people right. I had these early investors, backers, employees, and I think I was just so insecure that I thought the only way to prove myself to them was to succeed.
Succeed at what? Being a criminal? Okay, so then it comes to the topic of Fyre Festival 2, and luckily, Don Lemon, in his interview with McFarland, pushed back on the notion that McFarland should go for this, that he should push with a Fyre Festival 2. Let's watch how that conversation went down.
How can you have Fyre Festival 2 when Fyre Festival 1 was such a bust?
Don, before we get there, the overall goal is to pay everybody back while still doing something incredible.
Yeah, but you still didn't answer my question.
I don't even understand what that means. Like, what do you mean paying everyone back while doing something incredible? Now, the public, according to the tourism minister in the Bahamas, they issued a statement. The public is advised that no application has been made to the government of the Bahamas for consideration of any event promoted by Billy McFarland or any entity or parties known to be associated with him. McFarland was the organizer of the Fyre Festival several years ago, a notorious charade for which McFarland was convicted and sent to prison in the United States. So we don't know if he's actually planning this. It doesn't seem like there's really anything in the works, but what are your thoughts, Cenk?
So I now realize that this story is all about rich people. And so I didn't watch documentaries. I read summaries of what happened at the Fyre Festival. The minute I read the summary, I realized, oh, that's why he went to jail, because he robbed rich people. Because if you're gonna pay to $12,000 a ticket and then he's gonna put you in a tent and give you a cheese sandwich.
They were literally FEMA tents.
Yeah. And so you paid for private jets and the most exclusive models. And if you don't get what you paid for, well, somebody's gonna be in trouble, okay? And they needed to see the manager, and let alone the investors. So you're gonna rob from both sets of rich people? You're crazy, dog. You're going to jail, okay? And so I don't know if he's learned from this, and now from now on we'll only rob from poor and middle class people, because you can get away with that all day long. But the second part of the how wealth affects the story is, this kid must have grown up rich or something. I mean, like, the entitlement is just oozing out of every pore. So he's saying, well, I gotta pay people back because he owes 26 million in restitution, right? But he doesn't blink. He just thinks like, oh no, of course, I'm right back in the saddle and I'm gonna do my next money making scheme and then one after that and the one after that. Like 26, yeah, I'm in the hole for 26 million, but that's okay. Like I'll pay that and then I'll make way more on top of that. Because it never occurred to him that going to prison like would ruin your life and then you couldn't then become a multimillionaire. He just thought like, oh, it was a little hiccup in my scams. And that's okay. And by the way, I'm not even creative enough to come up with a second scam. I just redo the first scam.
100%. He wasn't even creative enough to come up with a different name for the festival. He's like, I don't know, Fyre Festival 2. Do you not understand like the branding there? Like
no, but he does, and that's my guess is that's why he did it. He
don't
thought,
call it a comeback because it ain't.
Okay, he probably thought, look, everybody knows Fyre Festival. It'll be easy to get media attention, right? And people are suckers, so I'll just play. Hey, look, Trump did it. He ran the scam on the first time he ran, and he won in his case, right? And he ran the same scam the second time, right? He's like, so I'll do it again, right? And so, and this is what it must feel like to be rich, where you feel like even if you go to prison, there's really no consequences, and no one's gonna judge you for it. It's just like, it's almost like he got caught in a game of Monopoly, and his friends are like, let him back in the game. And that's his assumption.
That's his assumption, yeah.
Because of the entitlement he grew up with.
Now, in order for him to travel, he needs to receive approval from a judge. Remember, he still has 3 years of probation. So the idea that he's going to succeed in planning a Fyre 2 festival is ridiculous to say the least. As I mentioned, the government in the Bahamas has made it clear that he hasn't attempted to apply for the necessary, paperwork and stuff to make that happen,
etc.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he's going to the Bahamas again. There's no way the Bahamas is taking him because the Bahamas got hurt from a PR perspective, right? When they didn't even do anything wrong. So look, but to me, the most interesting part of this story is not any of this. It's, is anyone really going to sign up? And I bet the answer is yes. And my favorite part was the wonderfully obnoxious part of the application you have to do to sign up. The question, the main question was, why you?
I can't. I hate these people. Like
no, you guys get it. It took me a while to get it. Right? They're asking, why should we let you into the new cool Fyre Festival too?
Yeah, it's so exclusive. Why should we let you trust this guy who defrauded people of $26 million so you can buy a ticket and go to this theoretical festival that really has no wheels in motion?
But look, man,
do you guys want acceptance that much though? Seriously.
Yes,
that's the saddest part about it. And when I say that, it's not to our audience. I know you guys are better than that and smarter than that. But for the people who are like, oh, why me? Because, come on, have a little bit of dignity.
You're gonna beg him to get into a scam festival? That's unbelievable.
Have some self-respect.
But they don't.
A little bit.
But like, to be fair to Billy McFarland, I'm not positive that all of this stuff isn't going to work. Are you positive? I'm not positive. Like, the #1 quality you need in America to get rich is not like being really smart, really hardworking. That's mythology. Does that work? Does that work from time to time? Sure, it does, right? But the #1 thing you need is what Anna just said: shamelessness. And this guy's got it in spades. So don't call it a comeback, but a guy this shameless has a pretty good shot in America.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.